Prime Minister Narendra Modi thanks all parliamentarians for choosing the path of duty even in the crisis of corona. Prime Minister says Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha will be held at different times in a day and even on weekdays. Many important decisions to be taken in this session. Monsoon session of Parliament begins amidst elaborate safety measures against spread of COVID-19. Session will take up 47 items during its 18th sitting till 1st of October. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan to make a statement in Parliament today on COVID-19 pandemic and the steps taken by the Government of India. AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Guleria to brief MPs about awareness of corona. Hindi Divas is being celebrated across the country today, commemorating adoption of Hindi language as one of the official languages of India on 14th of September 1949. Prime Minister Modi congratulates linguists who contributed to the development of Hindi language. Heavy rains trigger landslide in 2 villages in Nepal, killing 12 people. Rescue efforts underway to search for over dozens of villagers feared to be trapped under the soil and debris. And in sports, Austria's Dominic Thiem wins the US Open and his first career Grand Slam title in a 5-set tiebreaker against Germany's Alexander Zverev. Good morning, welcome to English News. I'm Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Starting first up with the monsoon session of Parliament that begins today. All safety measures have been taken to conduct the session. In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, the session is taking place in 2 shifts from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. today. Rajya Sabha will sit in the morning shift and Lok Sabha will sit in the evening. The monsoon session will take up 47 items during its 18 sittings till the 1st of October. 11 bills are scheduled to be replacing the ordinances. The Parliament began with obituary references to the passing away members of Parliament. Tributes were paid on the demise of former President Pranab Mukherjee and other members of Parliament. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan will make a statement regarding COVID pandemic and the steps taken by the Government of India. AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Guleria will inform members of Parliament about precautions related to coronavirus. Ahead of the session, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has thanked all parliamentarians for choosing the path of duty even in the crisis of corona. Prime Minister Modi exuded confidence that all MPs will collectively do value addition to discussions on several subjects.
एक विशिष्ट वातावरण में संसद का मानसून सत्र आज प्रारंभ हो रहा है। कोरोना भी है, कर्तव्य भी है और सभी सांसदों ने कर्तव्य का रास्ता चुना है। मैं सभी सांसदों को इस पहल के लिए बधाई देता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं और धन्यवाद भी करता हूं।
Prime Minister has cautioned the citizens to take utmost care till the vaccine comes. He said that government wants that a vaccine be developed at the earliest from any corner of the world and our scientists succeed and we succeed in bringing everyone out of this problem.
कोरोना से बनी जो परिस्थिति है उसमें जिन सतर्कताओं के विषय में सूचित किया गया है उन सतर्कताओं का पालन हम सबको करना ही करना है और ये भी साफ है जब तक दवाई नहीं तब तक कोई ढिलाई नहीं। हम चाहें कि बहुत ही जल्द से जल्द दुनिया के किसी भी कोने से वैक्सीन उपलब्ध हो, हमारे वैज्ञानिक जल्द से जल्द सफल हो और दुनिया में हर किसी को इस संकट में से बाहर निकालने में हम कामयाब हो।
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has exuded confidence that the Parliament will give an unequivocal message that the country stands with our soldiers.
आज जब हमारी सेना के वीर जवान सीमा पर डटे हुए हैं, जिस विश्वास के साथ वो खड़े हैं, मातृभूमि की रक्षा के लिए डटे हुए हैं, ये सदन भी, सदन के सभी सदस्य एक स्वर से, एक भाव से, एक भावना से, एक संकल्प से वो संदेश देंगे, सेना के जवानों के पीछे देश खड़ा है।
Well, for more on that story on Parliament, A.V. Singh, our correspondent, joining us this morning. A.V., looking at the way things stand, this is the new normal in which this particular session of Parliament has been held, 18 days of Parliament. But how do the parliamentarians move about in Parliament? Are they asked to remove their mask every time? How is, the security officers, they're able to recognize the parliamentarians as they move about in Parliament?
जी बिल्कुल अनिल, कोरोना के वक्त में संसद का सत्र हो रहा है, जो तैयारियां हैं वो तो की ही गई हैं। जैसा कि आपने पूछा, जो संसद सदस्य हैं वो संसद भवन के भीतर एक ऐप के जरिए वो एंट्री कर रहे हैं, अपना आइडेंटिफिकेशन कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद वो अंदर जा रहे हैं। पहली बार ऐसा होगा कि बहुत ही कम सीमित संख्या में पत्रकारों को भी वहाँ पर अनुमति दी गई है। गैलरी में केवल 22 ऐसे पत्रकार हैं जिनको अनुमति दी गई है। संसद सदस्य भी अभी लोकसभा का सत्र शुरू है, 4 घंटे चलना है, लेकिन लोकसभा और राज्यसभा दोनों में सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग के साथ सांसदों को बैठाया गया है। गैलरी में भी संसद सदस्य बैठेंगे और उसके बाद उसको सैनिटाइज किया जाएगा। उसके बाद राज्यसभा का सत्र शुरू होगा। कल से पहले राज्यसभा का सत्र चलेगा, उसके बाद लोकसभा का सत्र चलेगा। पहली बार ऐसा हो रहा है कि सैटरडे संडे के दिन भी संसद का सत्र चलेगा। तो कई मायनों में बहुत सी चीजें बदली हैं, बहुत सी चीजों को जरूरत के हिसाब से किया गया है। पहली बार ऐसा होगा कि प्रश्नकाल भी नहीं होगा, हालांकि जो लिखित जो सवाल हैं वो दिए जाएंगे, उसका जवाब दिया जाएगा, लेकिन जो प्रश्नकाल है वो नहीं होगा। उसके लिए आज प्रस्ताव भी पेश करेंगे जो संसदीय कार्य मंत्री हैं और संसद सदन को बताएंगे कि समय की कमी की वजह से और कोरोना की वजह से इसको किस तरह से किया जा रहा है। तो इस लिहाज से कई मायनों में अलग है, ऐसा कभी देखा नहीं गया। लेकिन जैसा कि प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा कि कोरोना और कर्तव्य दोनों साथ चलने चाहिए और संसद सदस्यों ने इस पर सहमति जताई है और प्रधानमंत्री ने उनको साधुवाद भी दिया है। तो इस लिहाज से अगर हम देखें तो कई मायनों में अलग है। अब देखना यह है कि इन जो 18 दिन का जो संसद सत्र चलना है उसमें कितना काम हो पाता है और कितने ज्यादा विधायी कार्य पूरे हो पाते हैं।
Okay. Also looking at the tentative agenda, the number of new bills that are going to be introduced, also the the bills that are going to replace the ordinance, but the new tentative bills that are likely to come up in this session of Parliament.
जी बिल्कुल, अगर हम बिल के लिहाज से बात करें तो उस लिहाज से भी मानसून का सत्र काफ़ी अहम है, क्योंकि 11 ऐसे अध्यादेश हैं जिनको कानून की शक्ल देनी है। आज का अगर हम दिन की बात करें तो लोकसभा में 3 ऐसे बिल हैं जो किसानों से जुड़े हुए हैं, उसका अध्यादेश आ चुका है। अब उसको कानून के लिए सदन में उसको रखा जाएगा। एक आवश्यक वस्तु अधिनियम है जिसको रामविलास पासवान रखेंगे और 2 कृषि मंत्री नरेंद्र सिंह तोमर रखेंगे। बहुत संक्षेप में, बस सरल शब्दों में अनिल मैं बताऊं कि एक बिल ऐसा है जो कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग को लीगल करने के लिए, उसको स्थायी करने के लिए ऐसा बिल है जिससे किसानों की आय बढ़ सके। एक बिल ऐसा है जिससे आवश्यक वस्तु अधिनियम, जो दलहन तिलहन और आलू प्याज की जो चीज़ें हैं उसको आवश्यक वस्तुओं से बाहर करने की बात है, उसके भंडारण बढ़ाने के लिए एक कानून लाया जा रहा है। और तीसरा एक ऐसा है जो एक देश एक मंडी की जो बात कही जाती थी, सरकार की सोच ये है कि किसान अपना जो उपज है वो केवल मंडियों में ना बेचे, कहीं भी बेच सके, उससे जुड़ा हुआ बिल है। ये सरल शब्दों में मैं बता रहा हूँ, ये एक काफ़ी अहम है, किसानों के लिए काफ़ी अहम बिल है। इसके साथ ही साथ जो अनुपूरक मांगे हैं वित्त मंत्री उसको रखेंगी राज्यसभा और लोकसभा में। इसके साथ ही साथ कोविड पर स्वास्थ्य मंत्री दोनों सदनों में कोविड पर अपना बयान देंगे और उसके बारे में बताएंगे। और भी एक अहम बात राज्यसभा के लिए है कि उपसभापति का चुनाव होना है, उसका भी आज प्रस्ताव किया जाएगा। जेपी नड्डा एनडीए के प्रत्याशी का प्रस्ताव करेंगे और गुलाम नबी आज़ाद विपक्षी दल के प्रत्याशी मनोज झा का प्रस्ताव करेंगे।
Okay, one quick word before I let you go. You know, the Prime Minister also asked journalists to be careful while covering the Parliament, especially this particular session of Parliament, considering the COVID times. How difficult or how changed are the times there, you know, when you cover Parliament, especially this session, you know, amidst the COVID times, but covering Parliament session, how difficult or how challenging is it?
जी बिल्कुल, कोरोना के लिए जो चैलेंज हैं वो जाहिर तौर पर सांसदों के लिए भी हैं और पत्रकारों के लिए भी हैं। इस लिहाज से सुरक्षा के उपाय किए गए हैं। सांसदों के साथ साथ पत्रकारों का भी कोविड टेस्ट किया गया है। बहुत सीमित मात्रा में पत्रकारों को अनुमति दी गई है। दूरदर्शन का एक्सेस पहले से भी रहा है, इसलिए दूरदर्शन का एक्सेस रहा। दूरदर्शन के कैमरे के जरिए आप बहुत कुछ देख पाएंगे, लेकिन पहली बार ऐसा होगा कि हम लोग भी गैलरी से जो संसद भवन है उसके भीतर से हम लाइव नहीं करेंगे, बाहर से जो रिपोर्टिंग की लाइव है, जो रिपोर्टिंग है वो बाहर करेंगे। मैं विजय चौक से उसकी लाइव कर रहा हूँ। हमारे और संवाददाता अंदर में हैं, वो फोन लाइन के जरिए और चीज़ों के जरिए संबोधित करेंगे और लोकसभा टीवी इसका सीधा प्रसारण करेगा, उसके जरिए भी लोग देख सकेंगे।
Okay, challenging times, but then parliamentarians rising to the occasion in this COVID times. The Parliament monsoon session of Parliament underway. 18 days, important bills that will be taken up, roughly around 45 bills that will be taken up in this session of Parliament. That includes 2 financial bills. So lots to look forward to in the next 18 days. Thank you and appreciate you joining us, A.B. Singh, with those updates there from Parliament. Well, moving on, veteran socialist leader and former Union Minister Raghuvansh Prasad Singh passed away. President Ramnath Kovind led the nation in paying tributes to him. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said Singh dedicated his life to the development of Bihar and upheld the highest standards in public life. Meanwhile, the body of late Dr. Raghuvansh Prasad Singh is in Patna, where his last rites will take place. Well, let's now take a look at the late Dr. Raghuvansh Prasad Singh, a timeline on the work done by this leader.
Raghuvansh Prasad Singh was a staunch socialist, orator, and led a clean, unblemished public life. He lived by the ideals and followed the path shown by Ram Manohar Lohia, Jai Prakash Narayan, Karpuri Thakur, and Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar. He was the voice of the downtrodden and the backward, be it in his party or the parliament. A politician for nearly 4 decades, Raghuvansh Prasad Singh was widely regarded as an expert in the rural and agricultural landscape of the country and is credited with conceptualization and implementation of the MGNREGA. Raghuvansh Prasad Singh lived a disciplined life and his entire stay in the public limelight remained spotless. No charge or allegation was leveled against him for corruption or wrong practices in the public office. He started his political journey from Sitamarhi district and fought an election in 1977. He was elected an MLA 5 times from Bailsand constituency. He was also Energy Minister in the Karpuri Thakur ministry and never looked back. He fought Lok Sabha elections for the first time from Vaishali in 1996 and won from there for a record 5 times till 2009. He was equally regarded and respected across party lines, and even when the parties were opposing the RJD tooth and nail, no personal comment or allegation was ever leveled against Raghuvansh Prasad Singh. To the man who brought the biggest job scheme for rural India that has stood the test of time and regime change, Raghuvansh Prasad Singh will always be known as the silent leader who led an unblemished life and worked away from the limelight. But in his passing, an indebted nation says with gratitude, thank you, Raghuvansh Babu. With Bureau Inputs, Rajesh Raj, DD India.
Well, Hindi Divas is being celebrated across the country today. Hindi Divas commemorates the adoption of Hindi language as one of the official languages of India on September 14, 1949. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will give his message to the countrymen. The Films Division will be streaming films on Raj Bhasha. 5 films in Hindi shall be available for 24 hours for free viewing. The films being streamed are Witness to Our Constitution, Samvidan Ke Sakshi, which depicts interesting aspects of the Constituent Assembly meeting and the decision to make Hindi an official language of India on the 14th of September 1949. Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted the nation on the occasion of Hindi Divas. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "All the very best on the occasion of Hindi Divas. Congratulations to all the linguists who contributed in the development of Hindi." Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar has extended greetings on Hindi Divas. He said, "India's every language is beautiful and great. Greetings to all on Hindi Divas." Extending greetings on the occasion, the Home Minister expressed gratitude to all those who contributed to the strengthening of the Hindi language. He also appealed to people to contribute towards protection and promotion of Hindi language by using Hindi along with their mother tongue. He further tweeted saying Hindi is an unbreakable part of Indian culture. It has been an effective and powerful medium of national unity and identity since the freedom struggle. With the new education policy of Modi government, there will be parallel development of Hindi and other Indian languages. The Election Commission team will arrive in Patna today to review preparations for the forthcoming assembly polls. This is the first visit of the Election Commission team before the assembly polls. During the visit, the EC team will hold review meetings with DMs and SPs of different districts at Patna, Muzaffarpur, Bhagalpur and Bodh Gaya. Bharatiya Janata Party will be organizing a week-long Seva Saptah from today to mark the birthday of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on September 17th. Different social initiatives will be undertaken by party leaders across the nation during this week-long Seva Saptah period. The party is planning to mark the occasion with initiatives such as drives for mass distribution, blood donation and food and fruit distribution among the poor. Seva Saptah will continue till September 20th. The greatest strength of Mann Ki Baat is the diverse range of inputs received from people across India. This month's episode will take place on the 27th of December. I urge you all to share your ideas on the Namo app or the mygovindia.in or by dialing 1800 11 7800. The Union Health Ministry held a virtual meeting with Union Health Secretary, Secretary DPIIT and Secretary Pharmaceuticals. State health secretaries and industry secretaries of 7 states also participated in the virtual meet. The focus of the meeting was to ensure adequate oxygen availability in all healthcare facilities in these states and unrestricted intra as well as interstate movement of oxygen. The states were specifically advised to ensure facility-wise, hospital-wise oxygen inventory management and advanced planning for timely replenishment so that there are no stockouts, ensure that no restrictions is imposed on the movement of medical oxygen between states and union territories. Also, provision of green corridor for liquid medical oxygen, that's LMO tankers within the cities, and states must not impose restrictions on the free movement of oxygen. Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Harshvardhan, interacted and answered questions posed by his social media followers on the Sunday Samvad platform. The Union Minister informed that while no date has been fixed for the vaccine launch, it may be ready by the first quarter of 2021. To allay fears regarding the safety aspect of the vaccine, he said he will be happy to take the first dose of vaccine if some people have a trust deficit. He added that the government is considering emergency authorization of COVID-19 vaccination, especially in the cases of senior citizens and people working in high-risk settings. He added that this shall be done after a consensus has been reached. The center-led COVID management strategies have focused on early detection through widespread, easy and aggressive testing. According to the ICMR's latest data, 9,78,500 tests have been conducted in a single day. That's on Sunday. The total number of people tested so far stand at 5,72,39,428. The center's focused, calibrated and effective strategies have manifested in a high level of recovery rates at 78.88% and a sustained low fatality rate that's 1.65%. There are some states and union territories reporting even better recovery and case fatality rates than the national average. This is the result of ramped up healthcare infrastructure, center's standard treatment protocol, enabling standardized, quality and effective healthcare, and dedicated selfless service of the doctors, paramedics and support staff in hospitals and healthcare facilities. Moving to neighboring Nepal, where at least 12 people were killed and over 20 still missing after a massive landslide swept through two villages on Sunday. The landslide, triggered by torrential rains, swept away homes and people. 10 people died and 21 people are missing after a massive landslide swept away homes in Barabishe in the Sindhupal Chowk district, while two others died in a landslide in Baglung in the northwest area of Nepal. The latest fatalities took the death toll from landslides and flash floods in this monsoon season to 314. At least 111 people remain missing and 160 people have been injured. Relations between India and Bangladesh are smoother and warmer than at any time in the past. Road Transport and Bridges Minister of Bangladesh, Obaidul Qadir, has said while addressing a virtual review meeting on Sunday on the progress of projects in Bangladesh being implemented under the line of credit extended by India. The Bangladesh minister said that the two countries are time-tested friends. He said that friendly relations and connectivity between the two countries will help in solving the unresolved issues between them. He cited settlement of land boundary and maritime issues and enclaves as examples for resolving other issues. Well, time now to take a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the country. India continues to report high number of recoveries exceeding 70,000 every day. Focused, collaborative, responsive and effective measures of early identification through high and aggressive testing, prompt surveillance and tracking coupled with standardized high-quality clinical care have in tandem led to the result. 77,512 recoveries were recorded in the last 24 hours, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 37,80,107. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 78%. India's three-pronged strategy, test, trace and treat, is proving to be a success. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.64%. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India stand at 9,86,598, which is 20.36% of the total cases reported so far. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu left for Washington to attend the signing ceremony of Israel's normalization agreements with United Arab Emirates and Bahrain. Israel and the UAE last month agreed to normalize ties. The deal was brokered by the United States. A month later, on September 11th, King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of Bahrain officially agreed to a similar deal in a trilateral phone conversation with US President Donald Trump and Netanyahu. The signing ceremony for both agreements is scheduled to take place at White House on Tuesday. Meanwhile, UAE Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed has arrived in Washington on Sunday to attend the signing ceremony of the UAE-Israel peace deal. Well, staying with Israel, Israel has imposed a new national lockdown to contain the spread of coronavirus after a second wave surge of new cases. The lockdown will remain in place for at least 3 weeks. During the lockdown, Israelis will have to stay within 500 meters of their houses, but can travel to workplaces that will be allowed to operate on a limited basis. Schools and shopping malls will be closed, but supermarkets and pharmacies will remain open. The public sector will operate with fewer staff, but non-governmental offices and businesses will not have to close as long as they do not accept customers. Indoor gatherings are limited to 10 people and not more than 20 people outdoors. Israel has become the first country in the world to reimpose national lockdown due to the fear of the spread of COVID-19. On sports, Austria's Dominic Thiem claimed his first Grand Slam title against Alexander Zverev in a 5-set thriller. He won 2-6, 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, 7-6 in the US Open final. After losing three finals on the trot, he became the youngest Grand Slam champion and his first maiden Grand Slam champion since Marian Cilic in 2014. The win, which took more than 4 hours and needed a tie-break in the final set, marks the first time an Austrian has ever won the US Open. Thiem is also the first to ever come back from 2 sets down in a US Open singles final to win, and the first men's Grand Slam champion who was born in the 1990s. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news, but remember to follow physical distancing at all times, using the face mask when you get out of your house, also washing your hands and using the sanitizers to keep yourself clean, because we all need to see a better tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.